Time now for our special segment, Gravitas Snapshot, where we analyze public figures who are making headlines and tell you their story. And tonight, we are focusing on the far-right leader, Javier Milei, who is now Argentina's president-elect. Milei won Argentina's presidential election on Sunday night, beating opponent economy minister Sergio Massa with 55.69% against 44.31% of the votes. The far-right libertarian populist won in all but 3 of the country's 24 provinces, and his opponent Massa conceded even before the electoral authorities started announcing the preliminary results. Listen in.
I want to tell you that obviously results are not what we expected, and I have called Javier Milei to congratulate him and to wish him good luck because he is the president that the majority of the Argentinians chose for the next 4 years.
When Milei announced his entry into politics in the year 2020 in a bid to quote-unquote blow up the system, very few predicted that he would come this far, and just 3 years later he has pulled it off. Milei's rather aggressive and theatrical style has been making headlines. He was seen in superhero costumes, also wielding a chainsaw to illustrate his plans to cut down the size of the state. However, against that backdrop, Milei and his Liberty Advances coalition have seen a dramatic rise in support, especially among the young. In a television appearance, Milei denounced Pope Francis, who is also an Argentine, as an imbecile for defending social justice, and called the head of the Roman Catholic Church the representative of malignance on earth. And as Milei himself embraces his maverick status, he has also praised the British former Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher, who is little loved in Argentina for her role in the 1982 Falklands War. Diana Mondino, an economist on Milei's team, who will also likely be his foreign minister, told Reuters ahead of the vote, and I'm quoting, "If Javier combed his hair neatly, if he did not get angry, would people ever invite him to speak?" Quote unquote. And among all the haters, Milei has a small circle of confidants, including his 51-year-old sister, Karina, who has been his campaign manager, and who also, the unmarried Milei, quipped early this year, could be his first lady. His other close companion was his dog, Conan, for whom he paid a whopping $50,000 to clone after his death. He now has at least 4 mastiff dogs, Murray, Milton, Robert, Lucas, named after liberal economists. Milei claims it was Conan contacting him through a medium who gave him the mission to be president, and says that his dogs are the best strategists in the world. In fact, in an interview last year when his presidential ambitions were starting to gain momentum, Milei told Reuters, "In terms of political logic, I am a mistake, because what I have come to do is in fact stamp out the privileges of politicians." He further added that, and I'm quoting further, "I don't care who my rivals are on the ballot, I will beat them all." In the same vein as Trump's slogan, "Make America Great Again," Milei had said he will return the country to an unspecified period of greatness. Argentina is going to reclaim the place in the world that it should never have lost. That's what he said at his victory rally on Sunday. His followers have embraced the comparison, in fact, and often wear hats bearing the words, "Make Argentina Great Again." Many experts believe Milei will be forced to be a lot more moderate after taking power next month, and will struggle to implement his more controversial proposals, because his party controls just 38 of 257 seats in Argentina's lower house and 8 of 72 in the Senate. But on Sunday night, Milei showed little signs of diluting his vision for South America's second largest economy. The changes this country needs are drastic. That's what he declared, announcing Trumpian plans to make Argentina great again. According to Forbes, there are around 2,600 billionaires in the world, and together they are worth a combined $12.2 trillion. So while climate change may be a global problem, for some billionaires, it's not the same, it seems. From owning top-end private luxury vehicles to consuming more electricity, these billionaires are unapologetically spewing greenhouse gases. Hence, as the planet continues to feel the impact of global warming, studies have shown that these lifestyles are contributing the most to the climate crisis. In fact, according to an analysis by Oxfam and US researchers, 12 of the world's wealthiest billionaires produce more greenhouse gas emissions from their yachts, private jets, mansions, financial investments than the annual energy emissions of 2 million homes. Just let that comparison sink in. The tycoons mentioned include Jeff Bezos, the Russian oligarch Roman Abramovich, the tech billionaires Bill Gates, Larry Page, Michael Dell, including the inventor and social media company owner Elon Musk, Mexican business magnate Carlos Slim. Together, they all account for at least 17 million tons of CO2 and equivalent greenhouse gas emissions annually. So, on one hand, while the world's wealthiest people have never been richer and their carbon footprint has expanded as a consequence, on the other hand, their statements to curb the ongoing climate crisis have contradicted the most. According to conversion data from the US Environmental Protection Agency, out of the 12 rich billionaires, Carlos Slim, Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos account for over 6 million tons of carbon emissions individually. So what are the richest of the rich, the top 12 wealthiest individuals in the world, doing through either their personal or corporate influence to help the world and avoid the worst consequences of climate change? Well, it's a mixed picture. For instance, while Jeff Bezos made big pledges like investing $10 billion on Earth Fund and billions of dollars for Amazon to reduce its carbon footprint, the Amazon boss himself invested in buying a $500 million super yacht that Ocean Company built especially for him. The yacht, which is 127 meters long and took 3 years to build, boasts the title of the largest sailing vessel in the world. Its carbon emissions are over 7,000 tons a year, according to the analysis by Wilk and Burrows. And apart from Bezos, Microsoft chief Bill Gates is also not far behind in making climate commitments. With a net worth of nearly $130.4 billion, the global billionaire, who does not own a giant yacht, but his private jets, luxurious mansions, and a seaplane have majorly contributed to the higher carbon footprints. According to a report published in The Conversation, Gates alone accounts for annual carbon footprint at nearly 7,500 metric tons, and earlier committed to take steps to reduce his personal emissions impact by buying sustainable aviation fuel, switching to electric cars, using solar panels, and even buying offsets that are delivered through carbon removal technologies. And even though social media giant Elon Musk's carbon footprint is lower than the other billionaires, Musk's estimated footprint was recorded at over 2,000 tons. Recorded in a report published in The Conversation. Musk in 2020 sold all of his mansions and promised to divest the rest of his worldly possessions. Musk does not own a super yacht and says he does not even take vacations. The Tesla founder even argued that his work with Tesla and Solar City has made huge contributions to curb the climate crisis. Carbon inequality math is so new and so intimidating that researchers assessing it are left mostly with questions. Perhaps the biggest one comes in the affluence paper. Can a transition to reduced and changed consumption be achieved while at the same time keeping economic and social stability? So as consumption and emissions continue to rise, that remains very much an open question. I want to now talk about something that happened over the weekend and stayed with me. I'm sure you've all heard about the Miss Universe pageant. Well, this year's Miss Universe contest took place in El Salvador, and a plus-sized model participating in this year's pageant broke all stereotypes. 2 transgenders also took part. It was a pageant that saw the old rules crushed by new realities. But the question is this too little, too late? Our next report, getting you the complete story.
Shanice Palacios from Nicaragua was crowned Miss Universe. It was the 72nd edition of the international contest, but the events that unfolded marked a first in its history. For the first time, a plus-size model entered the international competition. That wasn't the only reason why this year's contest dominated the headlines. The 72nd edition of the International Beauty Pageant also featured 2 transgender women, 2 mothers and 1 plus-size model. Now, you must be wondering, it's 2023. How can that be a big deal? Well, it is, because, you see, over the years, beauty pageants have set certain standards and expectations. No matter how questionable and in contrast with reality they might be, let's just take you back in time. Do you know how the Miss Universe pageant came into being? Miss America 1951, Yolanda Berbeze, refused to pose in a bathing suit for the company Catalina Swimwear. So the company came up with its own pageant. A lot has changed since then, but the expectation for women to strut around in a swimsuit has not. What did change? This year was that a plus-size model entered the competition. Meet Miss Nepal, Jane Deepika Garrett, who is also a nurse and an entrepreneur. When she made it to the top 20, this was what her Instagram post read. I'm quoting, "I'm so proud to be representing real-size beauty around the world and breaking the stereotypes of beauty pageants. So proud of the new Miss Universe and will forever cherish this season of my life that was life-changing." Her pictures from the contest have been going viral, and why won't they? She has, after all, broken stereotypes. They are not just images of her from the contest, they are shining posters promoting the cause of body positivity, teaching women to be comfortable in their own skin, no matter what their size is. In fact, inclusivity became a huge takeaway from this contest. It also featured 2 transgender women and 2 mothers. Miss Portugal Marina Machete and Miss Netherlands Ricky Cole marked the first trans women participation in the competition. Ricky Cole is a 22-year-old model and LGBTQ activist. Marina Machete is a 23-year-old flight attendant. The thing is, over the years, beauty pageants have set questionable expectations. Earlier, official rules said that pageant contestants must not have ever been married, not had a marriage annulled, nor given birth to or parented a child. The title holders are also required to remain unmarried throughout their reign. But things changed in August 2022. The Miss Universe organization announced that mothers, married, or pregnant women are eligible to compete in the pageant. And now, a plus-size model was also a part of the contest. It is a huge step in the right direction. Old pageant rules have been crushed by new realities. Stereotypes are being broken finally. But is it too little too late?